previously on Life.
The Millennium Development Goals provide us with a shared vision, including at the highest political level, what development is about.
We shouldn't see developed countries as having triumphed over all the problems of development. Many of the Eastern European countries are abjectly poor, and they will also need European assistance.
Sweeping through the heart of Europe, the Danube is one of the world's most historic and romantic rivers. But now, with the expansion of the European Union into Eastern Europe, it's at the heart of a very modern dilemma. How to create prosperity through trade and development without destroying the environment. This is the story of how the Danube has become a new battleground in the conflicts between the EU's transport and agriculture lobbies and environmentalists fighting to preserve the river's unique ecology. Can the EU uphold its own commitment to environmental sustainability?
People have been present in the Danube Delta since at least the time of the ancient Greeks. Communities have come here, settled, moved away, and generally speaking, they have left no trace of themselves when they've gone. We're now on the edge of a very important time, perhaps an unprecedented occasion in the whole of Europe, that is the extension of the European Union. Many people in these countries have very, very high expectations. They expect the European Union to arrive and change things like a fairy godmother, whereas maybe for the environment of the Danube, it could be an evil ogre.
The Danube is Western Europe's longest river. It runs nearly 2,800 kilometers from its source in the Black Forest in Germany to the Black Sea. It is the world's most international river, connecting 18 countries. The Danube and its tributaries comprise a river basin that covers 1/10 of continental Europe. Because of Strauss's waltz, the Danube is forever associated with the beauty and grandeur of Vienna. But the Danube isn't blue, and this isn't Vienna. This is Vienna.
Danube was seen as something of a threat to people from Vienna. And in fact, they built a canal to take the Danube round the back of Vienna because they were afraid of it. It was something that brought them floods, diseases, pestilence, didn't look very good at that time, and they preferred that it wasn't around.
But it's not just the Viennese who have ambivalent feelings about the Danube. As Europe's main artery, it's always provided a vital transport link between Eastern and Western Europe. But to make it navigable, the river has had to be tamed.
The Danube was, in historical times, a river where, in this part of the river, it was in a number of braids, sort of smaller channels. As a consequence of the interest in shipping on the Danube was increasingly constricted and built into concrete channel. The idea being that the ships had a secure, safe way to go. And this part of the river in particular is one where, as you fly over here, you can look down and see that it's a straight construction with concrete banks on both sides.
Over the last 30 years, the European Union has actively encouraged both the expansion of river transport and intensive farming methods. Now, with Brussels' power in the ascendant, and as the EU expands into Eastern Europe, the threat to rivers on the continent is set to increase.
The transport issue has become very prominent in the discussions about the expansion of the European Union to the countries of the East. There is a trans-European transport policy that has been developed that sees the Danube and other waterways as simply waterways for transport, not as rivers, but as transport highways.
The EU Transport Network Plan envisages an integrated system of roads, railways, canals and rivers. The Danube, with the Rhine, is central to this plan to link the North Sea to the Black Sea.
The European Community wants in the first place to shift transport of goods from the road to other modes of transport, and so in particular to modes that are environment friendly. In the first place inland waterways, but also rail, and we are very much convinced that making better use of the inland waterways is a contribution to further economic integration in Europe.
The Danube has been dammed and channeled for navigation for centuries. There are already 58 dams between its source and Vienna. But the EU's transport policy would lead, eventually, to the whole length of the river being changed and adapted for navigation. In Germany today, there's only one short stretch which survives as a natural, free-flowing river. But this part of the river is too shallow for today's huge, fully loaded barges, so the European Union want to deepen it and dam it.